where Cel has Nedum and David, and they can pick the bones out of a bit of a messy second half.
We are indeed back at home in Manchester, and that is full-time over in Houston, Texas, with Manchester City 2, Club America 1 in our first pre-season game of the season. David, it kind of very much played out as we thought a pre-season friendly would in that second half, didn't we? It was the stung was taken out of it just a little bit, wasn't it?
Game of two halves.
Game of two halves, as we said.
Game of two. I think statistically we were right. 3 goals in the first half and.
Yeah,
we
stopped there actually, didn't we? We literally stopped. We didn't mention the second half. Yeah.
But I think what Brownie said there is a good point. In the end, as long as no one's injured, it's a good run out. I mean, the fact that KDB. I mean, I was saying he'd probably coming off 45 minutes, but he got a good 70 minutes, 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Looked like he's enjoying himself, and some of the youngsters getting out there as well looked good. There's a lot of positive. Yeah, win positive. Really good. Really good start.
Speaking of those youngsters, that's kind of what the second half was about, really, Nedum. We saw the introduction. We saw Cole Palmer coming on there at the start as well. Kaiki, of course, came on. McAtee, Delap in the end. Wilson Esbrand as well at fullback, who I thought was a standout for myself. As we say, amazing experience for them, but were you impressed kind of with the bits that you saw from them? Of course, it's a
the thing I'm going to say, it's going to sound like it's quite negative, but it's not. I think the fact that, say, Club America didn't really feel like that they were that threatening in the second half, I think it gives credit to those City youngsters that came on. Because, you know, if you're bringing on people who don't have that much experience, you'd expect the game to turn a little bit and go in Club America's favour. But I think the fact that it didn't shows that they did play well, even though you couldn't necessarily pick out 10, 12 different things that they did exceptionally well. I think they were solid, they were competitive, and they made sure that, you know, they did what they needed to do to win the game.
Yes.
There's little things like that which do carry you a long way, because they could have gone into the game and thought, just be individual, try and do something, show something special. But sometimes you just need to do your job.
Yes.
And I think that's what they managed to do. And for every change that's happened, and obviously when KDB comes off, the person coming on isn't going to be KDB, but the person coming on can still have an impact. And I think they managed to do that. And as a consequence, I think they deserved winners.
We also, of course, as well saw the introduction of another one of Manchester City's new signings in the form of Calvin Phillips. Quite interesting, though, David. He was kind of put more at centre-half to begin with. We saw at the end when Walker moved across, he did move into that role we're more familiar with. But great to see him get his first 45 minutes in a City shirt.
Yeah, I didn't think he signed and thought my first appearance will be as a centre-half, but...
Hey, he's wearing the number 4.
Well...
You know, a couple of legends used to wear that 4 before him. There's Vincent Kompany and myself.
He was signed as a centre mid.
Don't want to put it out there, but yeah, he's wearing my old number.
Were they the statues they were talking about?
Mine's getting built very soon.
Okay, yeah.
I'm commissioned. I'm building it myself.
So, yeah, good luck with that. Oh dear.
Oh, but cancel the statue.
Yeah.
No, but as I say, good to see him out there. Wasn't the most testing for him, granted, as Nedum said. I mean, Club America didn't really pose too much of a threat in that second half. But in the end, again, there's so much about a game which, like Nedum alluded to there, any one of those youngsters or substitutes could have come on for City and thought, I'll take the game on myself. Kind of going against what the manager wants them to do. And also just having the confidence just to be able to control the game at times, because guaranteed within the first month of the Premier League season, there will be situations where you're just controlling the game in not necessarily a 2-1 lead. It might be a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just having that composure and for the rest of the team as well, seeing new players coming in under that sort of, as Kevin said before the game, under the, he didn't use the word pressure, but in a stadium, big stadium, a lot of fans there, just seeing how they deal with that, I thought they dealt with it very well.
For sure.
And also as well, another young player there, we kind of, again, it was a quite quiet second half, but we know, I think there's going to be big plans from this season. Cole Palmer as well, who came on, and what I quite liked as well from seeing there, it was very rare. I think there's only 1 or 2 occasions, but he's quite difficult to get the ball off. He's very tricky, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. And I think it's good for him because he goes both ways as well. I think if he's going to solely just play on his strength and just his left foot, then I think it makes him a bit easier to play against. But I think we saw one of the first times he beat somebody, he was on his left and he faked to shoot, and he just sold the guy completely, and he can run down the other side. And I think for him, you know, it's developing on trying to improve on what he did last season, try and build and realise as well, you know, he's only a couple of years, say, younger than Phil and stuff like this. He's only maybe a year younger than Haaland, a year younger than Alvarez or whatever. So this is a young group of players, so just saying that you're young isn't necessarily going to be justification for not doing the right things.
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah.
I think for him, it's going to matter that he keeps getting better, because the competition to get into that side is going to be huge yet again.
Absolutely. One player who was in the wars a little bit, bless him, and he was very much feisty, was of course the main man, our super Jack Grealish. Jack, I love you, mate. You know I love you. But we can kind of see he was in the wars a little bit, David, but kind of that seems to be Jack every game, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what I do like about Jack Grealish. He is so good at it. He kind of knows when the challenges are going to come in, and more importantly, he puts himself in a position where he'll still get fouled. And I think a couple of these occasions, is this the best one? I'm just trying to see, where he knows he's going to get fouled, but he's not going to get injured.
Yes.
And people often talk about players diving, and you look at it and you think it's a bit theatrical. This one here, I mean, his feet are off the ground, so he knows he's going to get contact. The fact that he's jumped straight up means that he wasn't hurting it. But the problem that you have in football, and Nedum, you'll probably know better than I do, because I only played up front for a little while.
Too long, some might say.
If you stay in the grounded position, that challenge could basically ruin your career.
Yeah.
So at times it might look like a dive, but it's also a bit of protection rather than looking to draw the foul. But Jack, his timing is
impeccable, and always done with a smile as well. You can kind of see.
Well, but that's what gets him kicked again now. That's the thing. Yeah. That smile when somebody just comes through, you're like, yeah, it's good work, mate. Good work. Come and do it again. Like, he's very good at that. I think he takes obviously a lot of touches in terms of when he's dribbling, but he's very good at making it seem like you've got a chance of winning the ball. Because for a lot of those tackles, people think they're going to win the ball. But he's got it under control, and he's basically just teased you in there. And that's why he wins so many free kicks, and that's why he can get his leg in there and then get away from what could be, say, a bad tackle as well. And I think ultimately for City, if he finds himself in the right sort of positions, like he could have had 2 penalties today on a different occasion, you know, that's where you want to see him sort of like really challenging the fullbacks and trying to win some of those free kicks, penalties, and have those sort of big moments in games as opposed to potentially dribbling in the wrong areas. And I think he gets that overall now.
And is part of it as well, though, like he knows that kind of whole thing of getting in the opponent's head. Like you can see when it did get a bit fiery and the challenge there where I kind of think maybe looked a little bit worse than what it was, but he knows that if he kind of is pushing it, he's making their game become about, well, we've got to get Jack, which then is kind of freeing up other players a little bit. Do you think that's part of it with him?
I don't know if he's selflessly choosing to just take all the hits on behalf of the team. So just don't worry, guys, I've got this. I don't know if that's what it is, but it certainly can upset some of the people. But then I think also like that level of upset, because I've played with some people who would always rile the opposition, but sometimes you rile them to become better. Sometimes oppositions, like when they're passive, it's fine. But when they're extra motivated to try and stop somebody, that's why for him, you'll probably find it very hard to just have a 1v1, because sometimes it turns into 2v1 because they want to have a big impact and want to try and stop him. So I think in some ways, you know, it can affect, I think it affects the people who's playing against more once they're on a yellow card, because he'll continue to go at them. But whilst that's not the case and they can spread it out, then I think sometimes it makes it harder for him individually because they're inspired to stop him, whereas other people on the field, they just carry on about the business, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
absolutely. Pep Guardiola, David, do you think will he be happy with that first pre-season game for kind of rethink? Maybe we never know what Pep's thinking and what he wants.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's happy if he got out of it what he set to get out of it, and I don't think
who knows what that is.
That's the thing. I don't think beating Club America 2-1 was the objective.
Yeah.
So the fact that the younger players got on, did well, the fact that Kevin De Bruyne did what he normally does in a pre-set, and like I said before the show, before the kickoff, you know, the youngsters will be looking at the senior players and thinking, how are you going to prepare for this game? How are you going to approach it? Well, if you're looking at Kevin De Bruyne before that game, you're going, he wanted to win the game of football.
Yeah.
Against Club America, I think he'll probably want to win the game against West Ham as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of, that's what Pep would probably want. Say scoreline wise, and look at
just pop that there.
Okay. And he's really, I think we spoke about it a bit on the show over the last 2 seasons, but kind of, you know, we know that he's also one of the kind of the 5 captains now in a way, but has really stepped into this role of being like, I am the man, and I'm going to, you know, we see his tireless running off the ball during the season, you know, and actually stepping up and doing that on a regular basis. It just seems to be now kind of part and parcel, really, of him kind of embracing that he is one of the best players in the world?
Yeah, for sure. It's getting towards that sort of awkward point where we're just expecting worldies from him now. Here we go. Kevin, 30 yards out, half volley, left foot, go for it. But you realise he's been at the club for a long time now. You know, so he understands the fabric of it. He understands the journey to try and be successful because he's done it so many times. He's felt the joy of winning leagues. He's felt the disappointment of not doing so. And so when he steps out there, I think he carries that with him, and people look around and they respect him. Because let's be clear about it. I think, was it 6 years ago, 7 years ago he signed?
Yeah.
Some of the players on the field there would just turn into teenagers when he first signed for the football club. So when he steps out, like, the respect is commanded because they watched him play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they watched him play to the highest level, and now this is their chance to play alongside him. And you look at the runs that he's making, he's selfless. He's looking for passes, he's scoring goals, he's putting in tackles, he's running in behind, and he's one of the best players in the world. So when I always found when the best players are doing stuff like that, who used to think that you shouldn't try and match everything that they're doing.
Emulate, yeah.
They have the qualities that you don't, but everyone can run.
Yes.
Everyone can compete.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if he's doing it, like that's the bar. You can't drop below that.
And it kind of feels for these young players that we got to see so much in the second half in particular as well, though. Shout out to Greek there if you saw him with the top knot and the glasses. That's the main man. You know, for those young players, they are the best role models to be playing against. There's always the conversation, you know, certain players are going to benefit from being on loan, of course. There's certain ones here that we know City are going to try and keep around the first team for these very reasons, isn't it, David?
Yeah, I think what's interesting as well, we talk about pre-season, obviously it isn't a league game. But what you see in Kevin De Bruyne today is someone who does what he does best, which is play at his best potential. He won't score goals like that on every attempt this season, we know that. But I doubt very much at any point in the season he won't be trying to do that, if that makes sense. And again, that's the role model bit that I think the youngsters will take. It's like every game is the same. You just do what you know you can do properly.
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't matter who you're playing against, just do what you do properly.
Yeah.
And you end up, like Nedum says, being the best of yourself. And if you've got the talent and ability that Kevin De Bruyne has got, then you become one of the best players.
For me, like, two things. Firstly, it's a privilege to have Kevin De Bruyne in the same dressing room as you. It's a privilege to be going out with him because, you know, it's not just a great player for City, he's one of the best players in the world at a sport which you love and a sport which you aspire to do for many years. So then, you know, that obviously matters. But then also we can call this a friendly and so on. But for City, the preparation for the game would be exactly the same as it would be for a league game.
Yes.
You know, this is what time we're going to have our food. This is what time the team meeting is. This is what time we're leaving. This is what time the warm-up is. All your stuff's out, like the kit, and making sure everything's spot on. And I think if there wasn't that sense, if that wasn't going on, then maybe you'd be thinking, well, this is a different sort of setup and there's a bit of a lax in there. But the standard is always high because that's the bar.
Yes.
You know, you can't dip below that at any point, whether you're playing Club America or you're playing in the Champions League final. You take it seriously, you prepare right, and you perform well, or to the best of your ability.
It's a bit like, I don't know when the I can't remember the name, but the infamous, the famous Michael Jordan documentary that came out about that. Yeah, of course, right. And I remember there's a great line in that where he says, you know, I would be known at times for maybe being a bit too forward or a bit too aggressive or a bit kind of shout and order, he said, but I'd never be asking someone to do something that I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the kind of point, isn't it, really? You know, I do as I say and do as I do in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, I think it's very easy to be professional when some of the best players in the world are as good as they are and they're working as hard as they are.
Yeah.
Like, with all due respect to David and his era with me at City, the 2011-2012 team was one of the most professional squads I ever saw, and that inspired me for the rest of my career.
Wow.
Because I saw how these guys were also good at football, but they also worked exceptionally hard off the field as well.
Yes.
And I thought, well, why would I be anything else but that?
Can I just interject there?
Yeah.
He's not suggesting that I wasn't professional.
No. That's why I said the era.
Squad.
That's why I said the era.
Yeah.
The era. You know what I mean?
Never suspect.
Honestly, that group of players, training's at 10:30. You have to be in at 9:30. Like, people arriving at 9, 8:45, 8:30, and they were getting themselves ready. And when they went out to train, it was competitive because everything mattered. You couldn't go through the motions because if you did, before you know it, you're not training. Because if you did, like, Vincent Kompany is going to be kicking you up the backside and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So you get there, and the standard is higher. and it makes you a better player because that's the level of commitment that you need to be able to try and strive to be successful because there's no guarantee anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you see people like Kevin, you see other players, some of those 5 captains, you see the infrastructure around them, like, there's an expectation at City that success should be there. But that expectation comes from the standards which they set as players, as staff, as the collective. And it's, you know, I sometimes think I would have loved to have been a part of that.
Yeah.
But then in the same breath, I'm glad that I can just go on holiday in the summer.
And enjoy,
yeah, I'll take it all back.
One name, of course, that we were all hoping we might get that first glimpse of him on the pitch in a City shirt in a game, Erling Haaland, didn't come on. By the way, happy birthday, Erling. I think he's 22 today in UK.
He's getting old, isn't he?
So he's not quite there in the States, but over here it is his birthday. So from us all here, of course, a very happy birthday. Probably hoping that we might see that first glimpse come the Bayern Munich game on Saturday, David.
Yeah, I mean, would have loved to see him tonight, but we didn't. And there's a plan, whatever that plan is. I mean, he was playing internationals like some of the players. Not every City player was involved in internationals recently, so you know it's not like he needs game time. If he goes and plays, I don't know what the plan is. If he plays against Bayern, happy days.
Yes. Well,
I'll tell you what, Kel, if he doesn't play any pre-season games, comes on in his first match, scores hat-trick, then that was the plan.
Yeah, that's all along.
Don't give him any footage. No one can see what he's like in the City.
He knows the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows the plan, doesn't he?
I'll wait till the season starts. Yeah, no problem.
And so, Nedum, of course, as we know, and City Plus is going to be with you, as will we as well, for our next pre-season game against Bayern Munich, which is taking place on Saturday. Will it just be much of the same, or will we expect another... Will we take things up a notch, kind of intensity-wise? What will kind of be now between here and Saturday? What can we be expecting from the team?
I think it would just be a case of recovery for the people, because I think 3 people played full 90 minutes today. Some people played 75, and it's probably your first 75 in a little while. So they might take a little bit longer to recover than, say, you would do in the full flow of the season. So they'll be looked after. But there are tons of players who haven't played enough minutes who'll be training very hard tomorrow. You know, some people maybe did some pitch runs today. And then come the second day, it's getting ready for that next game. And again, taking it seriously and understanding that it's an important game. Because firstly, you know, it's a pre-season game where you're getting ready for something, but it's also against Bayern Munich.
Yes.
And, you know, you don't want to embarrass yourself at any point. And for some of those players, it's a chance to, you know, it's like you never know when the origin story is going to be. One of those youngsters could have the best game of their life on the weekend, and come the first game of the season they're playing, and the justification is because of how they played against Bayern Munich in America on the Sunday. You know, so that's what it's going to be like, and I think it's going to be a good game. Obviously, Bayern are one of the best teams in Europe, some of the best players as well. But yeah, for those City guys, you know, they're going to enter the game and look to win.
Yeah, they have lost 50 goals though.
Yeah. Hey, listen, but I think we might have 60 or 70, fingers crossed, that have just come in. By the way, Bayern as well won 6-0 tonight against Wayne Rooney's DC.
Well, I heard it was 6-2, was it not?
Is it 6-2?
Yeah.
So you got
the two count double.
The 2 do count. All right, well, let's, before we go, let's hear now from, of course, the team who are over in Houston. They were there watching the game live in that electric stadium. Nat is with Pablo, Zabaleta and Joleon Lescott.
So, City have beaten Club America 2-1 in the first pre-season friendly. Players are just behind us, you can see on the pitch. James McAtee there. Zaba, did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was a great game. Very good. 2 great goals by Kevin. But the whole game, I mean, the whole team been great, especially the first half, the intensity of the games. Jack Grealish was fighting against everybody.
It really didn't feel like a meaningless friendly.
Yeah, like a local derby friendly, that felt like. No, it was, as I said, the intensity was there from both teams in the first half. But yeah, credit to both teams for making it competitive. But I think Kevin shows his class and scores 2 goals.
Kevin De Bruyne is not messing about. 45 minutes into a pre-season friendly, the first one, he's already scored 2 goals. 2 great goals, what a worldie.
No, the first one was incredible. When Kevin is around the 8-yard ball in the central area, 80% the ball will go to the back of the net. It's incredible. Kevin is a finisher. It's unbelievable. The second goal was a great pass by Mahrez and great finish by Kevin as well. 2 great goals.
2 great. I mean, the first one, Joleon, the first one.
Yeah, again, they come from a little run from Jack off the left, and then he half miscontrolled it a little bit as well, and then he obviously won it back, and then as soon as he was there to strike, you knew he was going to end up in the back of the net. You knew it.
And like 45 minutes into the first pre-season game of the season, it's not about fitness. That was pure just Kevin De Bruyne's skill.
But as I said before, I was very impressed in the way that some of the players have been playing, and I think Rodri in the middle of the park has been incredible. The centre back we spoke about before the game, the young lads done well as well. So that's great to see. Some of the players will get some more minutes against Bayern Munich, of course, but at least the team has been really good tonight.
We mentioned the atmosphere a minute ago. It is so loud in here, isn't it? And poor Jack, travels across the world and still getting boos from the crowd.
Yeah, it's horrendous. But obviously it was due to the incident. Well, actually, I didn't see what happened. I just seen some pushing, but he definitely should have had 2 penalties. Like, I don't even know how that isn't a thing. And I think them decisions led to the crowd's perception of it diving or whatever. But their penalties, blatant penalties. I don't know what was going on, to be honest.
I was standing right here with the perfect view of it there, and absolutely penalty, Zaba.
Well, we were a bit far, but it looks like it was a foul. And he was telling to the referee that he was clear. He knew it was penalty, but no VAR for the friendly game.
Yeah, no VAR. We want VAR. I feel like Jack's the sort of person, though, that thrives off that kind of energy from the crowd.
Yeah, he impressed me today, to be fair. The energy he played with and how direct he was, getting up the ball and trying to run forward. So, yeah, he's impressive performance from Jack. Yeah, I'm pleased to see.
So, in terms of the defence, we saw in the first half Nathan Ake and Luke, and then in the second half, Calvin came on for his debut, but was playing at centre-back. How did you think he did?
He's done well. First time, Ake was playing on the right, even if he's a left footer, he was on the right hand side, and we can Cel and Walker, both of them playing coming inside as we normally see every time, and that's what you expect from the fullbacks and the whole defence. Then the second half, of course, Phillips been playing as a centre back, then Kay Walker as well. But in general, they've all been great, and that's good when you see some of the players moving in different positions and doing well for the team.
Yeah, so the team just behind us now, obviously. You can just hear how loud it is, even just as they're leaving the pitch. They're smiling faces. Calvin Phillips is always smiling. I don't think I've seen Calvin Phillips at any point stop smiling.
Just joined the club, so yeah, I don't know why he would have to not smile about it, to be honest. But yeah, he seems that kind of way. Like I said, I've known him a couple of years briefly, and yeah, that personality is genuine. So yeah, good to see.
Of course, Calvin, Stefan, Joleon, the 3 new players today. How do you think?
Very good impression on all of them. Goalkeepers, Ortega was very composed on the ball, as I would say before the game. Technically very good, always looking for the free man. Julian Alvarez also been good, working really hard for the team off the ball. Very good attitude. That's all you want from the players. He missed a good chance here. He probably should have done a bit better with his left foot, but overall it's been great. So yeah, all the new signings done really good game.
We've got Bernardo Silva just behind us here, and the crowd has started throwing stuff down. Oh, he's off now. What did you make of the new players? Happy with what you saw?
Yeah, of course. As I said, I wasn't expecting too much due to it being new, but yeah, in regards to Alvarez, his work rate was ridiculous. The amount of times I've seen him back then, I'm thinking, who is that? And then I realised, yeah, it's our forward, back on the edge of our butt. So he's obviously one and committed to the cause. So yeah, overall, just a good performance.
And we saw a lot of the young players come on as well, which obviously we always love to see. Cole Palmer did, I don't know if you spotted it, on the far side of the pitch, did the most ridiculous piece of skill.
I know. Very similar to Mahrez. You wish. No, but this guy is really good. I really like him a lot. Hopefully he take that opportunity to show that he wanted place in that squad. You know, all the young players, they're all really good. They all have the standard to play in Man City. But of course they need to show that, they need that consistency, because to get a chance in the first team is not easy. They all have big players, big names, but Pep really trusts in all of them. I know that Pep is a manager that likes to use young players, and they have domestic competition, League Cup and all that. Pep, I'm sure that we give chances to all of them.
Yeah, and it was an incredible experience for them tonight with this crowd, in this atmosphere as well.
Yeah, definitely, as you said, it's all about that. It's all about gaining experience, but they'll be aware what this means. Yes, like Zaba said, the young players come, they want to showcase to the manager that they are capable of performing at this level, and that was a pretty tough game for some of them as well, so that would have been the highest level they've played at, so they all give a good account of themselves.
Rico Lewis did great as well. 17 under-18s Player of the Year, making his debut in front of 61,000 people. I mean, he's never going to forget that.
No, of course not. No one forgets their debut, even if it is a pre-season friendly. But yeah, that will mean a lot to him and his family. And as I said, hopefully now he can build on that momentum and get some more minutes.
So did we learn anything, Zaba? Did you learn anything new after tonight's game?
Well, it is clear that the team still playing the same way. The ideas are there. The confidence and all that. We need some of the players like Foden, Gundogan. That's hopefully we will see them soon as well. But you can see that the team they all know what they're doing. There's been 6-7 years working together with Pep and all the staff. So even in the second half, they just kept the ball really well, and it's been a really joy to watch them tonight.
How will what we've just seen affect the rest of pre-season, or will it?
Well, as I said, it wasn't about a result. It's just about, can Pep see the patterns that they work on regularly enough and understand that there's going to be rust there. Like we and Zaba were talking just before Kevin's goal. His final pass wasn't crisp, it wasn't clean, he didn't keep it as much as we see, and then all of a sudden he scores the goal, and then after that I don't think he give it away. So listen, these players are world-class players, so they understand that pre-season is about rhythm and just gaining that momentum again.
So we're leaving Texas now. This is our Texas experience done. We're moving on to Green Bay. We're going up north. First of all, are you looking forward to getting to Green Bay, Zaba?
Absolutely. I hope it's not as hot as Texas. Would be.
No, I looked on the weather.
But it's
supposed to rain on Saturday.
It's like north. It should be more.
It's not Manchester, mate. It's not like Manchester. London.
I wish I was Manchester, like 16, 17 degrees, fresh air.
Yeah.
Well, not this week. No, this week's been hot.
And of course,
it's been good.
When we get there, we'll be playing Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's again another tough test. They'll be at similar stages. Obviously got new signings, so I'm sure they're eager to impress as well.
Before we go, Joleon, I just want a quick word about what you're up to tomorrow.
My prediction.
Your prediction?
2-1.
Oh, did you say 2-1? I forgot.
said 2-1,
I
yeah.
forgot.
I think 3-1,
No, I
yeah.
forgot. What are you up to tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm meeting Kevin Holding. He's a UFC fighter. I'm not going to be fighting him or anything like that, so don't get carried away. I'm just going to go and see the gym that they work out of and pick up some tips so when I can get Micah in the headlock.
Nice. Learn some moves, come back and share them with Zaba and I when we get to Green Bay. Thank you, Zaba. Thank you, Joleon, for joining us. Zaba and Joleon are off to Green Bay as well. They're going to be here for open training and then the game against Bayern Munich on Saturday as well. So thank you so much for joining us for City in the States, for City's first pre-season friendly. We've beaten Club America 2-1. Kevin De Bruyne's not messing around. He never does. 2 goals for him and a man of the match performance. So we'll be back soon with open training from Green Bay and then the game against Bayern Munich on Saturday.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nat. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Zabi. And good luck at the gym tomorrow, Joleon. What are we thinking? We'll be ready for Joleon when he comes back, no matter what he picks up, Nedum.
He's a big fella. I'm just going to leave him well alone.
Listen, look at the arms there.
I've experienced this before. I'm going to leave him well alone, mate.
We'll leave it to David.
I did some Muay Thai training in Singapore, so I'll be here.
I love that. Thank you, David. Let's not taking him on my own. Right, listen, all that's left for us to say is a wholehearted thank you to all of you for watching as well, and the boys in blue for that win. It is so good to be back. The season is well and truly underway now. So, as Nat said there is an open training session taking place on Friday ahead of our game in Green Bay against Bayern Munich, and you're going to be able to watch that live. So if you ever wonder what is a City training session like, you can watch that. I think that's going to be able to watch on YouTube or any of the different places. maybe on Twitter, where you do watch our content. And then come Saturday, if you want to watch the game in full, City Plus is the place to do that. And of course, Matchday Live will be with you every step of the way. Gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. To David, James and Nedum, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And a massive thank you again to Nat, to Joleon and Zaba and the team in Houston. So we begin our pre-season tour with a win. Can we make it 2 out of 2 against Bayern Munich? Well, come join us on Saturday. Until then, wherever you are, have a lovely evening or have a great morning. So long.
Bruyne! Manchester City defying belief.
Let's go!
Doc, we've got a new physio.
I can't see you. You can see me.
He loves the camera, doesn't he?
I know who you are as a player. I know who you are as a team. Yeah! Yeah. I'm the champion. Say it now loud.
Champion of what?
Of this.
Get that one, yeah?
Just take a minute to appreciate that rainbow, man. Huh?
He was named after John Stones, my big friend John Stones.
Rodri hits it!
I was shouting in my house.
I believe the small details make a difference.
That was our beat.
Smile for the camera, Kevin. Not that one, this one.
Oh, sorry.
Hey.